Hello, everybody. This is Bart Sharp, and you are on Becoming Quantum Conscious at United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 107.7 and 103.5, broadcasting out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana. Also, we are on Roku, Facebook, YouTube, and the uprntalkradio.com site. All of those places are lovely. You can also check out my YouTube site at Bart Sharp1, and I invite you to become a subscriber. I'm on the YouTube train, and it's been interesting, and I love the show coming up because it's all about changing meanness, the ego, narcissism, all of these things that go, well, me first. And it's not like you just wipe this stuff off the map and that it will never exist again. That's not how it works. Now, in my opinion, and our host today, or our guest today, Erina Cowan, will probably agree, and I'm going to bring her on, that it evolves, it changes. The things that we're really scared of are no longer mountains, but molehills. And it's a process. So I think today's show, we're going to really get into a lot of that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Erina Cowan. Hey, Erina.
Hello, Bart. Really happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me back on and, great to join with everybody.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. We had a great show in January, and I really like Erina because she digs so deeply into the energetic psychology of how we can change. And I just want to read a little bit of your bio so people will get uh, more info and get a perspective. Erina, by the way, is from awakeningheartsandminds.com. And it's exactly how it sounds, Awakening Hearts and Minds, plural.com. And also you can find her on YouTube at Mindfield Repatterning channel. I'll say that again later. But the bio, Erina's life, exploration of metaphysical and scientific approaches to understanding energy fields, mind and heart connection, relationships, and spiritual awakenings enrich all she offers. She is currently serving as co-founder and trainer of Mindfield Repatterning, author and facilitator of sessions and courses designed to support personal transformation, spiritual awakening, internal teacher and practitioner of alternative healing practices. She goes on the road and teaches, also is out there, as we all are out on the internet, teaching away. So, yeah, welcome to the show, Erina.
Thank you. Thank you. Really a pleasure.
Oh, it's mine too. I mean, there's so many things about this, about maybe we ought to start with just like, this heart minds field repattering, the mind
Mhm.
and the heart being repatterned, which,
Mhm.
most people will say it differently, but I find it unique, the mind and heart
Mhm.
repattering.
Mhm.
What is
Mhm.
that for you?
Okay, for me, it's actually the mind field repatterning, but including the heart in what I had written there. It's about tapping into our natural state of heart centered beings, heart intelligence that is naturally, our higher self. And what gets in the way of that, which you and I spoke of a little bit right before the show, and taps in with what you said about working with the meanness and, lightening up on that, the mind that we've been operating with is actually our lower mind, the ego or conditioned mind, we could call it.
Yes.
And it's very limited. It's 100% based on conditioning, living in the past, and developing a sense of self, small identity, persona from experiences and our interpretations as we go along in lifetimes and earlier on in this lifetime and all that. None of it's really part of us because it's simply reactions to and what I've held on to, life experiences, and starts developing again this small sense of self, which is by nature going to be extremely limited, and then I only see through the filters of that small self, the meanness, the ego, the conditioned mind. I also call it the interpreter. There's the higher self that experiences presence and present moment. And then the mind kicks in with an interpretation of the experience, like so quickly, right? Because we
Hmm.
have been so attached to thinking that. So, mind field. So, with the work I do, and I know what you're committed to also, it's about dissolving the false sense of identity with the ego mind to tap into a sense of who we really are, and connecting with that, it opens heart wide up. Wide open. It has to, and we start experiencing life much fuller. I liken it to that classic movie, The Wizard of Oz, how Dorothy goes from experiencing life in black and white to Technicolor when she hits Oz. And so when we dissolve our identity, which we all, frankly, it's our ultimate, it'll happen for all of us because it's not who we are as we start disbanding, this myopic view of the world and ourselves, and let go and open to the full experience of the oneness connection, we are connected to all, life changes in a very big way.
It does. And I want to say hello to Wellwood from Ontario, Canada. Welcome aboard. And I just think about, well, there's so many things that I think theoretically, and I practice this through meditations, and I practice it when I'm walking around the house. Keep the heart open. And yes, when the heart is open and you've got the location of your intention on the heart, reality is different. However, getting in a slight argument with a friend of mine a few days ago, I realized kind of went 2 steps backwards. There's certain things that just seem to trigger us to jumping out of the heart. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. We're living the experience here, still. But we can, of course, embrace and become fully aligned with awakened self, even while still here, right? But in the meantime, most of us are still having oscillations. And the default programming has been ego identity, all based on the thoughts and patterns that we've accumulated over lifetimes and created a sense of self about. And so they get stirred up. And it's the observation of that's not actually even I don't even think that's problematic. I think that's a gift in us being able to surface something that was inside and wanted to get triggered so that we can witness it and see what we want to do with it. Do I want to stay in this, or do I want to, like, fear? That would be fear based. It's only fear or love. Only one of
Hmm.
them's real. And fear is always a call for love. So when I get triggered, I'm calling for love in here,
Yes,
just no blame, no shame, just like, wow, okay, you know,
it is.
oscillating.
It is. And we both are both energy workers. I do shamanic work, other tools. You do this heart mind awakening work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot more than just the theory
Yeah.
of, oh, well, you do this technique or you do this. And we've been talking theory, but let's get down to what are some of the nuts and bolts that you see is required of most people to energetically break out of some of those old patterns?
Okay. Number one, desire. So, and that often comes when we are having a challenging time in life. So we can look at that really challenging time that seems to be shredding, everything we valued as the worst time in our life. But quite often, it definitely holds the potential of becoming the best time in our life because we have a motivation. There's got to be another way, and that leads us into being open to actually do some self work.
It does. And desire. What about pain?
Pain, part of it, right? So pain is a great motivator. And you know what? We can make decisions to engage in self-exploration and self-work and really being honest with ourselves and dissolving our attachment to how we think of things and being open-minded, the I don't know mind. We
Mm-hmm.
can do that and we can approach it and take off with that without having to go through great pain to do so. But great pain can be a motivator as well. So really I see it as an opportunity that each one of us, if we feel called to it, have an opportunity to repurpose every experience in our life to our awakening, past and present. So if I had a great deal of hurt, that can either shut me down and I can start hating the world and thinking everybody and everything is against me, or I can say, I can't live like this and I need something else. I need to tap into something real, something beyond the suffering. And there's the motivator, right? Or,
Yes.
also, great experiences, all the life experiences we've had, we can shift our perception of them to, wow, that has really motivated me along my path. I can say for myself, I didn't necessarily choose a perfectly easy road in this lifetime. And, I've worked on myself, and evolved from it and honestly look at everything from childhood and beyond as great. I went through
Mm-hmm.
that, and honestly, I don't hold a charge around it, around these
Mm-hmm.
things anymore, because it's a shift in perception, and that really is shifting from small self-identity that is into story and holding on to the past to, man, I need freedom, and breaking myself free and letting go and practicing forgiveness. So I just want to bring that F word in because it's so potent, man. And it is actually, excuse me, I look at true forgiveness, higher perspective of forgiveness as simply being the practice of the art of letting go.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I holding on to that causes a sense of non-peace, isolation, separation? It's up to me whether I want to take myself out of prison or not. And so it's like it's an offering of, I actually have a desire to, and this is how we open the heart. It's letting go of all that we've been holding on to that has obscured our awareness of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes we think it's the person, like, I forgive my father, and
Yeah.
we, we try really hard to get that concept, but yet we're still irritated or we're still feeling a lot of pain in our anger and the obsessions and stuff still come out there. And sometimes it's about forgiving our own reactions, what we
Hmm.
did, our behaviors, our emotions,
Hmm.
and it, dad's going to be who dad is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. I think that's what a lot of times people uh, miss is it's the complexity of how we've separated us due to our own uh, miscues and
Mm-hmm.
reactions we're not crazy about. But there
Mm-hmm.
we were doing something that we're not very proud about today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big part of that ego mind and that pattern.
Mm-hmm. Einstein spoke something, so I'm paraphrasing, I'm not sure if I have it exact, but he said something like, we cannot solve a problem on the same level of consciousness that created it, period. We cannot really forgive simply through our mind, trying to practice the exercise of forgiving because we don't have the data in there to really fully allow us to really let go of it because the ego mind holds on to the past. That's how it operates. It operates
Yeah,
strictly from conditioning from the past. So we need to go beyond that and have tools. The energy work that we do, right? Different ways can help that. And realizing that, something the Dalai Lama, a favorite quote of mine of the Dalai Lama's is, in the end, uh, what matters most is how well did we live? How well did we love? How well did we learn to let go? And letting go can't be done just mentally. And so, a somatic practice, breath work, tapping EFT, working with mind field repatterning. I'm sure doing work that you do, neural repatterning. It is stepping outside of just the thinking psychological model that allows us to really let go fully, because otherwise we're identified with the story, our whole past as being real and really affecting us rather than realizing we've chosen what we wanted on an unconscious level, what we wanted to hold on to and learn through in our curriculum in this lifetime, from those experiences. And we can edit that script since we've chosen it.
indeed. And there's a lot of really great uniqueness with that. And and
Hmm.
and part of your work with the mind field repattering, or heart mind
Yeah.
repattering, excuse me.
No, it is mind field repatterning. That's the name of it. But it's confusing with the website is Awakening Hearts and Minds, but it's
Yeah,
about awakening heart awareness.
yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah,
mouthful.
yeah,
It's a mouthful, right? You know
yeah,
what? We can shorten it to MFR. So when I'm talking about it with people, I call it also MFR. But it's good you spoke the whole thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of like an interchange of about six different words that
Yeah.
are two different statements. So they kind of get confused in our mind. Can you tell me some of the approaches that you use in that are applying to what we're talking about?
Sure.
Because we're kind of in theory, but let's get down to a little bit more of the bare bones.
Okay. So going beyond linear mind concepts, which include the concept of time, of space. Our modern physicists even know that's a mind construct.
Hmm.
So laws applying only to how we look at reality based on time, past, present, future, and space between me and you. All of that, when we can tap into, which my work does, the quantum field, realizing that we can play around, beyond those constructs and we connect with one another. And so, really, to do the work that I use and that my practitioners, I have a lot of training programs, use is first of all, quieting the mind. We cannot access the healing field when the mind is busy. We
Yeah,
cannot. And so, we quiet the mind and we get ourselves into an alpha brainwave state, relaxed mind state, not so busy, consciously or subconsciously. and avail ourselves to connecting. Maybe it's a selfie session. I'm doing it with self or someone else. In that state, I'm able to connect superconscious on the level of superconscious mind. All minds are connected. I can connect with that person. It doesn't matter where they are. And I also then turn everything over to divine guidance. We're approaching it from a higher self perspective, superconscious mind, joined for the purpose of healing, turning it over to divine orchestration. Lead me on what wants to surface in the conscious perspective and simply be released. And I use a pendulum to create a vortex field.
Hmm.
In the center of a vortex, there's a still point that where patterns can easily simply be dissolved and something new and desired can arise tangibly. And so I create a subfield in the quantum field using the spin of a pendulum, joining in
Wow.
higher self-awareness and simply bring to surface under guidance what wants to come up, that what's really core and hidden, deeply unconscious as a pattern or a belief that's holding limitation in some area of life, whether that's health, wealth,
Yeah.
relationship, however it is, it's all the same. It doesn't really matter because at the core of everything, there's energetic energy memories, I call them,
Hmm.
energetic memories, thoughts, beliefs, emotions, feelings, stories that we held on to, didn't let go, didn't process, whatever, that we store literally in our energy fields, in our bodies, our cells, that keep us running old programs until
Hmm.
they're surfaced and they're released. And then something new can occur and we can be operating more and more from our natural state and awakening.
Well, that is very thorough. What you said, comprehensive. I really enjoy it.
Hopefully it's not confusing to
Well,
people.
well, let's just clarify a
Yeah,
few things with
yeah,
it because I think it's a handful
yeah,
and two things
yeah,
uh, that I caught that I just want to acknowledge to everyone is people have these experiences that they keep repeating over and over again. And it can come from a trauma base like, I'm not trustable or I can't trust anybody or the world's against me, whatever. Um,
yeah,
and they keep reliving that story in an
yeah,
alignment with it or in a resistance to it.
yeah,
But, no matter what side of the fence they're on, they keep replaying it and it goes back to the same core energy of, how it was formed. And what
hmm,
you're saying is that you can bring in a very safe source of consciousness
hmm,
uh, and get right into that field of the wound. I call it a sacred wound because it's it's what brings everybody to their conflict. So it, I consider it sacred. It's what
well,
drives you or destroys you, makes you become
yeah,
better and have self-realization
yeah.
or not.
And sooner or later it does because that's our real self. So sooner or later it doesn't matter if we want to play it out in another 20 lifetimes or not. Uh, it'll come to completion at some point. But I love how you framed that we either keep repeating it through either aligning with it or resisting it, because you're right, those are two sides you said of the fence, or I say same
Hmm.
coin, right? And you're right, it keeps the pattern going. We give it importance one way or another. If somebody was raised a certain way by their mother and it was they held on to patterns. My mother always criticized me. So now I'm self-critical and I criticize everybody else, right? And so as long as they want to hold on to the story that this all stemmed from my mother, they're not ready to let it go because the answer's within us, not
Yeah.
in whatever relationship or story we played out. That's just keeping it playing out for us as long as we still have a charge because these patterns are polarized. We need to bring them to a place of neutrality to be complete.
Mm.
And when we have any judgment in for or against, it is polarized, and we're not ready to bring it to completion.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. And one of the big divisions with this, if you're ready or not ready, is do you blame others or
Right.
do you go, I must be playing a part. I have a part in this. And I
Yeah.
wonder what that is.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. And also the part. Not only in okay, so with the part, how I love that you said that. How I see that also is that I see that as not just the conscious actions that seem to be a part of it. I really played back into this and really, irritated this person or whatever. That's the actions, right? But unconsciously, and this is a hard one to swallow for people if they haven't been expanding into these conversations yet, is unconsciously, nobody's a victim here. If you're a victim, there's no way out. We're not victims. And we have co-created all these experiences for our evolutionary uh, journey, right? And so if I keep holding blame out there, or the opposite of that one is if I think I need someone or something out there, whether it's the ETs and I love ET conversations, but whether it's that or it's someone in the government or my parents or whoever it is, if I think my happiness, my ability to be happy rests on them saving me or changing what they're doing, I'm never going to get there. We're
Yeah,
called to self-realization and self-awakening, and that means not blaming myself, but just saying, on some level, I chose to play this out. How do I know that? Because that was my experience. And if I can even open to that a little bit, the light starts coming in, and it becomes a little easier to move through letting go.
indeed. So well said. Because when we start to pull in various sources, and that can be a God or an ET or even people that we strongly admire, there's one thing to like envy them and go, what's that energy that they have? How can I learn that? That's self
Mhm,
empowerment. But when you go, they have an answer that I don't have, and I don't know how
mhm,
to do it, and I can have it. I need some magic here.
mhm.
I need something bestowed on me. I'm empty.
Yeah,
It's really a hard place to be, and
yeah,
and 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 all I can say is it comes simply down to that's an illusion
yes.
that you don't have it inside of you. And would you agree with me as a basic truth of consciousness? Everybody has it inside of them.
Oh, absolutely. Our natural state is love. We all came from a creative source that extends only love. And somewhere, in the wake of all possibilities, there came the tiny mad idea, the wild idea. I wonder what it would like to experience something other than oneness, other than wholeness. Bang, big bang, all
Hmm.
universes are created and we've been experiencing separation. But you know what? We never left home. Truth is, we are all equals, all equally carrying the same ability, even if we haven't tapped into it yet. And love is our nature. Everything else is a product of, an aspect of mind that chose to forget the wholeness and play out individuation. And that's really the source of our suffering, right? So, yeah, I totally agree with you that everybody has it within themselves. In fact, when I do sessions with people, I do client sessions as well as teach, courses. And, even my sessions with people, I say to my clients, this is not me healing you. We are joining in a collaboration. We're being guided because we're going to make sure we're in the right space for that, and we're co-facilitating because that's what's called for here, union, and so everybody does have it within them for sure.
It does. Um, God, I can go on and on, but we're right at midpoint. And I am wanting to also say you are on Becoming Quantum Conscious, and my name is Bart Sharp on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 107.7 and 103.5 out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Our guest today is Erina Cowan, and you can find Erina at awakeningheartsandminds.com and also on YouTube at Mindfield Repattering Channel. And she has a lot of great stuff with that. I keep thinking about, it's kind of like I had two brothers, and one always helped me, and then the other one always uh, was kind of hard on me, to say the
Mhm,
least. And and this is and my helpful brother did not bestow with me my own self realization. He just helped me and supported me, told me interesting information that would help me get through
mhm,
problems. And I keep thinking of like what you're doing. Uh, you're not a goddess on this planet or a little angel. You are a facilitator
mhm,
that helps transfer that.
mhm,
And I find it interesting that you're using a pendulum to create an energy field, almost
mhm,
like you're creating that safe field, so to speak, that people can
mhm,
tap into
mhm,
and get to that place where they can find a form of love. Love is a
mhm,
very liberal term. It means a lot of different things. But when you
mhm,
find something that's pure, that is healing, that is of light, we always want to call it something like love. It may not be the right term, but it is something that is available to everybody.
mhm, mhm.
It just
Yeah,
takes,
and go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was going to say, and how you framed that, right, is that love, in our connotation of love, it takes many forms and expressions. And in expanding how we relate to the very idea of love, I see it as simply the substrate of all of creation. Is just a natural part of us that is not that we express in different ways here, but when we get to the point where it's unconditional, it's really unconditional. It's like there are no conditions. That's what that means. Somebody doesn't have to show up this way for me in order for them to be expressing love. They're just being instead of being driven by the thinking mind. They're present. I'm present. We're connecting, and there's a field that you feel, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
That is simply the essence of presence that we're all part of. That's how I look at love. And then I know we, play around with that because we're always seeking that. That's home to us. And so we play around with it in many ways here. But ultimately, we all come back to that experience that, is our natural state.
Yeah. How does the heart help you get there?
Well, the heart I see, we have both what we call the physical heart as well as the energetic heart, right? And what's really kind of interesting is you have there's Heart Math Institute. I love those people.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, that have been measuring this stuff, quantifying it, showing us the science behind everything. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's giving the linear thinking mind so much candy, right? So it can start appreciating. And so
And the
the
stuff still works, even if even
yeah,
though you're looking at it from a scientific and all of the great tools that they have and sell, and I want to call them doodads,
absolutely,
but they
absolutely.
but however,
They
you're taking it to another place,
they're taking it to another place, and like merging, right, with the
right?
experience of it. Okay, if the thinking mind is in agreement that something's possible, it's more amenable to allowing you to have the experience. And so I thank Heart Math for that and others who are doing research. And here's like a little interesting tidbit. So when the heart, our energetic heart, that very
Hmm.
much has something to do with the physical heart and the field it's creating, and what we call the heart chakra also being part of this, right? When we are going around with just operating with our thinking mind all the time, we are um, actually radiating like 20 biophotons. That's the smallest measurement of light that we have calculated,
Hmm.
right? We call the smallest measure thing of light that we can even comprehend a biophoton. So when we're in our thinking mind, going about our day, da 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 da, the heart field will radiate 20 biophotons per second. When we are intentionally not in the busy mind, putting attention on showing up and connecting in present moment, in presence, connecting without storyland going on, the heart field radiates 1,000 photons per second.
Wow.
That's a 5,000% increase, or times 5,000. I might be saying it wrong. Anyway,
Mm.
wild, right? So when do we feel that we're really connecting with others? When we're in our thinking mind and this is just going on, or when we're actually intentionally, not attached to this crazy thing, and really being present and connecting with whomever we're with. Check out at the shopping line, someone I bump into at the street, my partner, my parents, my kids, whether they are currently on planet or not. If I'm thinking about my mother who is on the other side, if I just have like random thoughts, da 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 da, okay, that's cool. But if I actually take a moment to connect with her and feel the experience, allow myself to really connect, I am creating so much light, such a field. And what we call death doesn't separate us. There's no separation from this side and the other. And so I'm literally connecting with her. And since we're all one, I'm also radiating that light out into the collective. Can we offer a better gift? I don't know. I don't think so.
It's really a cool gift, and just think about if you are keeping your focus on your heart all the time and feeling
Yeah.
that vibration there, and you're not and it's almost like your thinking mind is in the back, on the back burner. They work
Yeah,
together. And if you having fun building your projects, or maybe you have a business, or you're a school teacher like I was, whatever you do gets all of that energy, you
yeah,
know, 5,000 times more energy.
yeah,
So would you be a very bigger generator of creating whatever dreams you want?
yeah. Absolutely. And if we want to see any changes out there, politically, socially, medically, however it rolls, you know, this is the best way to achieve it is to quiet this craziness and start becoming more and more of our natural state because we are all connected. We're all one.
Mhm. So this kind of reflects what we're talking about, but I want to ask you this question, because
Yeah.
whatever country you're in right now, because we're all over the world, people are listening in,
Yeah.
and I would say generally speaking, most societies right now are living in a tumultuous time.
Hmm.
Um, how can we apply what we're talking about now so people can maybe come away with a perspective that works better for them?
Yeah. Great question. That's really, really very relevant, isn't it? I think
Yes.
especially at these times is, I, you know, we have been operating on a collective mindset of separation for eons. We have been, experiencing ourselves as separate. And there's nothing new going on really right now. The form is different. We've got different expressions, AI, all this other stuff, right? But the conflict, the taking over of governments, the this person doesn't agree with that person, the wars, the all of it has been going on tens of hundreds of thousands of years. This is not new. I heard Eckhart Tolle speak this years ago when 9/11 hit. Why would we be surprised if anything that's going on now? The only way out is to shift consciousness. And that's up to each one of us, each individual. And not only is it up to us, but it's effective. So it's not a waste of time. And, Gandhi, be what you want to see in the world. Because if I'm working this, you know, I'm actually contributing to the field. And there's the hundredth monkey factor that when enough light is coming in, there's a wave of shifting consciousness. We are powerful beings. We are all, every single person listening to this call. I speak truth. You are the light of the world. But without tapping into that and waking that up within yourself, it's a wasted point because
So
it's not available.
to put a little clarity, or to clarify, uh, if you're just like staying at home or staying in your neighborhood and interacting with your friends, but you're doing it all heart centered and you're caring for these
Mhm.
people and you're interacting just totally on a local level, and this is not necessarily what you have to do.
Right.
But if you did so and you did it all the time, your light would be huge and it would make a difference, and you'd be connecting to a greater consciousness that would contribute to the rest of the world.
That's right. We'd see relationships with family members and, in our local communities shifting and changing and that also, but understanding that it's going far more than that, right? And
Indeed.
so it's peace or non-peace. In any given moment, we are either in a state of peace or non-peace.
Yes.
We are the choice maker moment by moment by moment on what we're cultivating and what we're nourishing. And so a practical application here is the practice of mindfulness, simply becoming more and more aware. of the state of mind I'm in the moment. Just being aware of what your mind is dishing out and how you feel. If I'm feeling out of balance, if I'm feeling non-peace, there are thoughts going on that are non-peace oriented thoughts. And so I notice them. I don't make myself wrong. I just recognize, I just even give the mind another possibility. I could choose peace instead of this. And it
Indeed.
becomes a mantra, and that starts directing our actions to be more peaceful. So it's not a concept to open our heart. And if we just say, oh, I want high vibration, but we're conceptualizing it, it's nothing. I need to actually be responsible for the thought generator. Is it higher thoughts that promote union and love coming through and are non-judgmental? Or is it not in the moment? Oscillation goes on. And simply
Indeed.
knowing there's
Indeed.
another possibility, right?
Indeed. And we're coming down to the last part of the show. And, we
Mm-hmm.
talked about doing an activation, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
6-minute activation. And
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you at 5 minutes that you got 1 minute left. Do you want to do that? And everybody just connect with this heart thing. Connect with your heart. Connect with this energy, and let's multiply.
Absolutely beautiful idea. Let's go. Okay. And so, excuse me, we have been having, very engaging conversation and connecting with all of you with it. I invite you now to let's quiet the thinking mind down. So we're all joining in the grid of healing that we're able to tap most successfully into when the mind is quiet. Closing your eyes for a moment, I invite you to put attention, awareness in order to bring yourself into that mind state to your breath and feeling the breath. We all have breath going on, or we wouldn't be here. Feeling the sensation of the breath moving into the body, into the belly, the chest, where that heart energy is, and the belly energy, creative, right? Bringing breath into the body, feeling it, and exhaling fully. Exhaling, and with the exhale, releasing stress. I give myself permission with the exhale to just release stress. Breathing in, paying awareness simply to the feeling, the sensation of the breath moving in, and the exhale. 2 more times here. I breathe in, expand belly, chest. Pause for a moment. I fully exhale. And I put awareness again of another cycle. And you'll notice perhaps the body relaxing more, the mind relaxing more with this simple exercise. Something we can do at any time when we feel non-peace or out of sorts in any way, keeping some awareness on the sensation of the breath coming in and out of the body. We're going to join now, and I'm joining with you, and together we are creating a field that holds us all in it, and we're tapping into really with this quiet mind space and this sacred circle that we have created together, and knowing that everything we shift is a gift to the whole. As I heal, I never heal alone. It's impossible. And so we now, in this space, release any fear of letting go of what we've become familiar with, the thoughts, the patterns, the stories that seem to be so important to us, that cause us non-peace, that influence imbalance in how we feel, that dim our light in any way. We give ourselves permission as we release resistance to simply letting go. Resistance of change, fear of change, and fear of the unknown. There's so much unknown and such a sense of instability all around us. Old structures are falling. There's a lot of apparent chaos. I will say that Apparent chaos has with it momentum. There's a lot of movement going on, and movement offers us a beautiful opportunity for transformation because there's already energy moving. It just calls us, it's inviting you now to go into your heart space, in your awareness center of your chest. Everything we release, we're just collapsing back into pure light from whence it started, just a potential, reversing ill effects, instantaneously joining with you throughout your timeline, throughout all points in time and space as mind would hold it. And we're just opening up the love field through letting go of fear, of letting go, through letting go of fear of change, through letting go of attachment to small self identity. I give myself permission to whatever extent I'm willing to right now to let go of my attachment and identification with small conditioned mind self that offers me limitations because it's a limited source. I give myself permission to tap into my natural state as heart oriented being.
1 minute.
There is a bridge I can cross, and that bridge is simply through my allowance to let go and offer myself the I don't know space and put more awareness on this beautiful heart energy that is expanding as we speak. We're activating the awareness of that heart energy, and your field is jumping from such a small amount of photons released, 20 per second. Now we activate it through joining in love and knowing that's your natural state, expanding that to 1,000, 5,000 times more, and then going beyond even that and connecting and knowing that you are love, you are the light of the world. I invite you to remind yourself of that. And so be that. That is tapping into and us going through the over that bridge into the place of miracle mindedness and that place of anything's possible. You are not
Yeah,
limited, and so be it. Thank you.
wonderful. I hope everybody is feeling much, much better. We have about 2 minutes, and Erina, what? Just shift really quick. What type of projects are you doing these days?
Yeah. So I offer a good handful of courses online. I call them one-up classes. That actually give people an experience of having shifts in particular topics. In December coming up is going to be divine union, collapsing the beliefs that were separate and cultivating that. I have courses that people can either do at their own pace through recordings or do live courses that take them through deeply learning how to do this themselves. We can all do this, and that's really, really my greatest joy is bridging, people into tapping into this ability themselves because that frees us all. And so I've got courses, I've got personal sessions, I have classes. Go to my updates page on awakeningheartsandminds.com. I have updates slash specials on that page. I keep it pretty updated. I am adding quite a few new one-up classes. That's going to come up in the next couple days on the site. You'll see that posted or personal sessions, come and have an experience of deep personal transformation and tapping into that field that is really your natural state. So yeah, and mind field repatterning channel, which I have to and am putting more episodes on YouTube. And so it's actually called mind field repatterning channel. That's in the name. And so
Yes,
check that out.
that's all wonderful. And that's awakeningheartsandminds.com. My name is, and this is Erina Cowan. My host, I'm Bart Sharp. I'm Becoming Quantum Conscious, United Public Radio Network, and UFO Paranormal Radio Network, and 107.7 and 103.5. We will see y'all all next week. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.